If not now, talking about this in terms of being premature and discussing the politics, when? When you see the numbers of school shootings, the numbers of these massacres, it almost seems like they almost do happen almost every week. So when would be the time, Governor?
Oh, I think it's time to talk about it, but maybe we need to talk about what it is these shooters want. It's pretty apparent from the postings online that this shooter wanted to be famous. Who makes him famous? Well, frankly, it's all of the television networks that go 24/7 putting up his name and his face. And I'm wondering if maybe part of the conversation that we need to have is whether or not, instead of tinkering with the Second Amendment, I never hear anybody say, let's tinker with the First. Let's put restrictions. And I want to be very clear. I'm not for putting government restrictions on what the media can do, because I hold the First Amendment sacred. But I think maybe that what the police official last night said, I agree with. Let's not give this guy his moment of fame. Let's not put his face on the screen. Let's not.
Governor, you won't see his face on our screen, and you won't see us say his name.
When I hosted my own show, let me just finish this a moment. When I hosted my own television show, I refused to give the name of these mass killers.
And we're doing the same.
Because I just feel like that we only give others the idea.
So, Governor, we haven't said his name once. We haven't showed his picture once. I want to know, beyond that, beyond not saying names and beyond not showing faces, what you would do as president to address the issue of these mass shootings, to try to keep them from happening in the future.
John, I wish there was a simple solution. I mean, I think surely if there was, we'd have found it by now. We know that most of these people are mentally deranged, so do we need to do a better job in mental health? You bet we do. Do we need to have a better understanding of what the signs are? You bet we do. Do we need to have a more aggressive approach to people who are mentally ill and showing these signs to keep firearms out of their hands? Of course we do. But that's not the solutions I hear. I keep waiting for someone to tell me, what new gun law can we pass that would have prevented this shooting, or Sandy Hook, or Aurora, or Charleston? Just tell me what gun law that is, because I've yet to hear somebody tell me what that is.